What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new stream. Let's jump into some PLO training. Today we're going to explore how to play the big blind in a single raised pot out of position better on flop turns and rivers. We're using the brand new design over on PLO Trainer or over on PLOmastermind.com using the PLO Trainer. So today we're going to fix hopefully some leaks. For example, this hand is supposed to check raise the flop. Would you have check raised this hand on the flop? Probably not. Most people wouldn't. Myself included. So those are some of the key spots we're going to be working today. When is it the right moment to turn your hand into a bluff against the c-bet? And we're also going to look into actual hands that I've played to establish how I've performed in this node so far. So I would say we're going to get right into it. Just putting one announcement out there. Over here on Discord. And there we go. So to begin with, the pre-flop spot is pretty obvious. We defended in the big blind in a single raise pot. This is a key spot. So when people ask me what you should be working on, the most frequent spots, which I call bread and butter spots, things that happen all the time. You defend the big blind, for example, in this cash game challenge in the World Championship is something that happened very commonly. So when I look into my own stats, the main thing I look into is my report right over there. So single raise pot out of position is pre-flop caller, and I'm check folding the flop 42% of the time over my sample of 1,200 hands in this spot. And the recommended approximate GTO frequency is 45. So it was a bit too sticky, especially considering that we were playing a very wide range from the big blind given the ante and the no rig format. So I ended up being too sticky in the big blind, essentially. Just too many calls. I can also give you a benchmark number on how the best players in this challenge have played in this node. Let's see. So the best players in this node have played a 45% check fold frequency. I'm at 42. So the best players, unsurprisingly, have played the GTO fold frequency. So I was playing a bit too sticky, and my check raise was out of control at 17. So very aggressively check raising, trying to make my opponents fold. Definitely out of line. The optimal frequency is at 10% check raises, and the best players in the field have played a 13% check raise. So they are playing more aggressive than GTO, trying to make players fold. Also because people, generally speaking, overfold against the raise and they over c-bet. This is certainly something that you can utilize at lower stakes. People are folding actually up more against aggression because they don't create the right betting ranges. They're just playing too mergy and they don't really know how to deal with aggression very well. But obviously in this challenge, playing against some of the best players in the world at 2K, it's not going to work out like that. And you also have to know what to do after check raising the flop. So with that being said, we're going to jump into a couple of different hand examples in a moment. But first, we're going to go and warm up a little bit in the trainer. In today's training, we're going to be utilizing a time bank feature. So you will see here in a second, we have 15 seconds to answer each question. We can also lower this down to 7 seconds if we want to. Top pair and a low gut shot backdoor diamond draw. I think it's too strong to fold, so we're just going to go with the call. That is the correct option. Next hand, ace 8-8 deuce, just too weak. We're going to fold. That is correct. Ace queen 5-4, gutter but no pair. Just folding here once again. So here we have an interesting one. We have middle set, backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Maybe a good hand to just call because there are so many difficult turns to deal with. I'm going to go with raise. And there's the mistake. I was thinking raising maybe because we are blocking a bunch of backdoor flush draws, holding 3 spades and a club. But it looks like we just don't want to get stacked here by jacks. But also, if we do get called after check raising, there are so many bad turns and so many bad rivers. So this hand just wants to play call. We can also study this hand a bit more in detail. And we'll see here in a second if middle set is check raising. So middle set is check raising 49% of the time. We can filter for middle set to see what kind of side cards do we want to have when we do check raise middle set. On the right hand side here, we filter by EV difference to see what are the most obvious must check raises, so to speak. And you can see when you have middle set and the not open ender, so king, queen, 10, 10, those are the hands that really want to check raise. But apparently also 10, 10, 9, 8, I mean, that makes sense, which is the lower open ender, or queen 9. So mid set open ender are the absolute must check raises on the flop. And then by filtering for EV difference in the call line right there, we are going to see what hands suck the most by re-raising on the flop. Like, where are you blundering the most? And it would be the 10-10 combos that do really bad when getting called or when getting jammed because of the lack of backup. So no straight draw, no backdoor flush draw here at the top, 10-10, 4-3. Makes a lot of sense from a conceptual perspective to me. So I think we can move on to the next hand. Now we have top set without much backup. I think top set is going to play a lot more aggressive. This top set, though, is pretty weak. I think we're going to go for the slow play. That is a mistake. We are check raising here. Reasonable difference in EV as well. So let's review top set. So on the bottom left side here, you can see how different strength buckets are playing against the bet. Right, so top set is check raising 87% of the time, where middle set is check raising only 49 and bottom set only 36. So you basically need almost no backup to check raise top set, but you need a bunch of backup to check raise middle set. I would imagine some of these slow plays where you only call with top set actually have really strong side cards and you're just have an overkill on the board. So let's see, when are we calling and when are we really incentivized to call? Queen, jack, jack 10. So I guess in this case, we are blocking the middle set portion. Jack, jack 10, 7. So whenever we have a 10, we don't really like that. King, jack, jack 6. No backdoor flush draw. So it looks like the lack of a backdoor flush draw and the blocker of the 10, where we block the coolers, are pretty much the only top set hands that we're choosing to just flat. The rest is going to go ahead and check raise. So queen, queen, 10, 3. Can we check raise bluff? Can we call? I'm not quite certain. I think we're going to go with check raise bluff here. That is correct. Next hand, queen, jack, 9, 7. Top pair open ender. Not really enough strong to raise and get it in. So we're just going to call. That's correct. Top set with a 10 blocker and no backdoor flush draw. We saw this just a moment ago. Call. Oh, this is an outlier. Looks like this hand still wants to be raising. Jack, jack, 10, 5. If we use the filter here for a second and say we have jack, jack, 10, then 36, 37% of jack, jack, 10 is just calling. If we remove the backdoor flush draw element, we are calling 68%. So 68% of jack, jack, 10 is calling. If we remove the straight draws, we're still, I mean, all of those have no straight draws, I guess, because we have jack, jack, 10. I see. It looks like when we have hearts, we kind of like raising because we get more action probably. If we don't have hearts, yeah, okay. Hearts really like raising because we're unblocking backdoor flush draw, so we're going to get called more often when we raise. Over here we're calling. Oh wow, this hand is raising. Queen 9, 9, 8. 4 blockers with 3 to a backdoor flush draw blocker and the spade blocker. So it looks like this hand is one of the hands that is sort of unintuitively turning themselves into a bluff and check raise folding. So if we have queen 9, 9, 8, we probably call some of them. Okay, so these hands are raising with the backdoor flush draw, but then what happens if we get potted? I guess we cannot fold anymore. Yeah, we're going to continue. So we're not bluffing those hands, actually. We're just going to be raising and trying to make some aces fold, maybe some kings fold, the bad jack fold, the 10 fold. And if we do get re-raised on the flop, we're going to continue. So this is a bit of an unintuitive merge. Wouldn't really play this very often, but this is interesting. Yeah, so these unintuitive merges are pretty interesting. So here we have top set and a backdoor flush draw. We block all the other sets. So I think this is a good call now. Oh, this is also raising. When are we flatting with top set? I guess the rule is like just don't flat very much. We don't have a straight draw blocker, I guess. No king, queen, 9 or 8 in my hand. So we're going to get a lot of action by raising anyway. 10, 10, 8, 4, unsupported middle set. Just going to call. Then ace 8 4 4, complete trash. Jack Jack 9 8, great top set. Raise it up. Ace Queen 8 8. So we have a nut gutter to the king. The 9 is second nuts. 8 is a set. I would just be calling. I don't think we're bluffing this hand. Correct. This is a fold. Top 2, but not really much else going. I think it's too weak to be raising. Oh, we're actually going to be raising King, Jack, 10, 8. Okay, so it looks like if we have those hearts, because we need more protection, we do raise actually more often. And interesting enough that this hand is actually going to be a raise fold on the flop. So another unintuitive merge. I think the thing I need to start paying more attention to is those backdoor flush draws and how they play into our decision making. As you can see here, because we have 3 hearts in our hand, we really dislike calling and allowing our opponent to turn all these draws that they barrel us with, and we have a hard time realizing equity, hard time calling down. So we're raising the flop in order to get rid of the backdoor flush draws, which we unblock. If our opponent piles and just puts in a whole stack, we're going to fold. So the backdoor flush draw element is a big topic here. Need to think about it a lot more. Calling this one. Top set. I mean, at this point, we're starting to raise top set all the time. It's probably the right solution. Queen Jack 8-5, I think too much middle of the road. We have backdoor flush draws ourselves, so we're just calling. Queen Jack 8-5 is raising the flop. Oh, man. Queen Jack 8-5. So this has to be a fold against the jam as well. Let's see. So Queen Jack 8-5 is raising the flop as a bluff. I suppose what happens here is whenever we could fold out aces or kings, we're trying to attack them sometimes with some side cards that are not so great for calling. I suppose the good thing about check raising this hand is that there are some pretty interesting turns we can just pile. Like if the turn is a 7, for example, some backdoor flush draw turns, we can just put the money in and trying to make an overpair fold. So let's play this through for a moment. Let's say we do check raise and get called, and the turn comes actually to 7. 7 of diamonds, let's say. Well, the 7 actually completes 8-9. So Queen Jack 8-5. Wonder how that plays. So we're sizing down on the straight completing card, and we're going to start checking over here. But let's say the turn is a 5. So that's much more of a wait, we don't have the 5. Let's say we get called. The 5 of hearts. So in this card, we're probably just potting or checking. Wait. Oh, we go check, raise, flop. Sorry. Check, raise, flop. Button calls. Let's try the 7 of diamonds again. So we check, raise the flop. Turn 7 of diamonds. Queen, Jack, 8-5. With diamonds, it's just going to put it in. Yeah. So that's the plan, is to check raise the flop against aces and kings and then just pile this turn. What if the turn is the 5 of hearts? I mean, at that point, we're turning 2 pair and a gutter. So I guess we're putting it in. So it's a bit of a difficult spot. We're not a huge fan of putting in the stack. We could consider checking to keep my opponent's range wide. Thing is, if we do check and our opponent pots, like what are we gonna do? I guess we gotta fold, honestly. Let's see if it finds appeal or not. It's extremely close in EV. Probably best to fold actually in this line. I think the heuristic is just the 2 pair we make are so bad, a lot of equity and bad playability. Yeah, It's very interesting to understand where the cutoff point is of which hands are just bad enough to turn into a bluff like this one. Thanks for making these videos. These are my favorite as they help me improve my study style. Very nice. Go to JNandez. I was a member of PLO Mastermind in 2018. Things have changed. A lot of things have changed, man. That's a long time ago. When was that? 2018, 2 years, 7 years, man. We're in the game for a while. Here's the next hint. This is complete trash. So bottom two not gutter, calling and seeing what happens. Ace 10, 8 deuce, too weak. Ace jack 9, 6. So top and bottom. Again, I don't think we're gonna bluff raise this one. Our side cards are just not good enough, I think, to be bluff raising. Queen, queen, 9, 7. I would just call. It's too weak to get it in. Fold this one. Okay, so king, queen, jack 4, backdoor flush draw. Pretty not at hand, but not good enough to raise and get stacks in. Call. Wow, wrong. So we're raising and getting it in. Not with a not open ender, we cannot fold against. Let's see, button bets. We check raise and get piled. So king, queen, jack 4. Yeah, we're not folding. We're just going to be raising and applying pressure with a not open ender. So definitely wouldn't be playing this as aggressive. Queen, queen, 10, 7. Tricky one. Probably check, raise, bluff. Queens are key blockers. 10 is a key blocker. 7 is a key blocker, but we can't call. Yep, it's correct. And I think this one is now too weak to bluff raise. We don't have a 9 or an 8 or a 10 or a jack. Just the queens. So we're going to fold. This could be a bluff raise. King, jack, 9, 9. We have 4 blockers. Top pair blocker. Call kind of sucks. So how about check raise bluffing? Correct. 9, 7, 6, 6. Bottom set. Doesn't raise very often. We need backup. Low gutter. I don't think it qualifies for enough backup. We're going to call. No, it is enough. It is enough. So going back to the study here. So if we do have bottom set, we raise, as you can see right there, only, wait, what? Oh no, this is not the right note. We're facing the bet and we show up with the bottom set. Bottom set raises 36%, as you can see here. Bottom set is raising 36%. If we do filter for it, which bottom set hate raising? I'm going to sort by EV difference. 7664, 6653. Obviously, complete lack of support. And which bottom set is loving to raise? Obviously, the not open enders, backdoor flush draws. But again, even 9-7, so 6-6-9-7 with the low gutter is still like pure raising and actually has a pretty significant EV difference there. So basically, any straight draw should be good enough there. 9-9-6-4, I don't think we have quite enough blockers to bluff here. Folding, king, queen, deuce, deuce. It's the not open ender is too valuable to turn into a bluff. Our hand is too weak to get the money in. The deuce is valuable to turn as well, so we call. This hand is a bluff raise, pretty bread and butter. Ace, queen, jack, deuce, nut, gutter, decent 2 pairs. Backdoor nut flush draw, call. Too weak to bluff raise. Ace, queen, 8, 6. Nut, gutter, nut, backdoor flush draw, call. Ace, 10, 7, 5, too weak. Top 2, we saw this before with hearts. We would raise, fold. But as is, call. Or raise, get it in. Let's raise, get this in. Yes, nice. Okay. Here we have the nut. We have a nutted wrap and 2 backdoor flush draws, just raising the flop and getting it in. And then king, king, queen, 5 is a bit too weak to raise. We don't block any of the sets. No backdoor flush draw, just calling. Too weak. Seems like we're getting better now in this spot. 9, 6, 5, 4, too weak. Call. Call. King, queen, 10, 6. Pretty strong. Bottom 2, not open ender, backdoor flush draw. Probably just raising. Just raising and getting it in. Yep. Too weak. 10-10, 8-6, no straight draw, no backdoor flush draw, just calling. We also block pocket sixes, which is not great. Ace King 9-4, I mean, just trash. Top two, interesting one. I think this is a raise fold. Raise and not stack off. Ton of blockers, but the two hearts really suck for calling. Yep, it's a raise. And it's going to be a fold against the jam, for sure. Here we have top two backdoor flush draw and a bit of a backdoor, like 3-2 straight. Call and see what happens. Ace Jack 9-9 could be a bluff raise. Call this. Oh, well, we're raising this one. 9-7-6 with hearts. We're raising this one to do what? So let's see. Probably if we had backdoor flush draws, we would just call, I would think. Yeah, so with backdoor flush draws, we call because we have more playability. But when we have hearts, we're happy turning it into a bluff. Or we prefer turning it into a bluff. We raise, and if we get piled, we're going to fold. So again, the backdoor flush draw is an interesting heuristic there to take into our raising range. As far as the WPT straddle games, let's look into that in a second and see what kind of solutions we have available there that could be helpful. So let's have a look where we're at the moment. We played 56 hands. We have an 80% accuracy. But I would say more importantly, we have identified valuable heuristics here on how to play this spot better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch the board. And I want to see if what I've learned here is applicable to a bit of a different texture. We're going to stay with the unpaired boards that don't build a straight, but we're going to go into a 10 high board. Let's use something like the 10-7-5 maybe. It's a tricky one. We face a bet on 10-7-5 and start the session. 15 seconds per decision. Let's jump into it. Obviously, this is a fold. Next hand, fold. Nut gutter, but no pair, fold. Okay, so this hand is a call, classifies as a blunder. So we have a nut gutter and 3 overs. Study this hand. That's an interesting one. I mean, we don't print by calling, but it is a call. So what we can do is we can say, what if we have a straight draw? We have the gutter, not gut shot, calling 47% of the time. So obviously, like, what nut gutters really want to call here are backdoor flush draw hands. We're never really making that much money. So for example, King, Queen, Jack 9 with backdoor diamonds is folding. Sorry, they are calling, obviously. Like, this stuff is folding. I was looking at the call line. Backdoor hearts are not calling, but not gutter, backdoor flush draw is a call. Okay, so here we have top 2 and a gutter. I think that's strong enough to raise. King, King, 7-4, low backdoor flush draw. It's one of those really tricky hands. I would just fold, and that would be wrong. So we're still calling here. King, King, 7-4. This is a fold. This is a fold. Not open, well, not open-ender, but open-ender, some set-outs, backdoor flush draw, ace high, calling. Bottom set. It's hard to have a better set on this board, to be honest, but we also have a straight draw, so I would be raising. Jack 8-4-4. We have a bunch of blockers. 2 backdoor flush draws and a gutter. 6 a straight, 9 a straight. We gotta see turns. It's too good to raise and bluff. And this one we saw before, with the lack of a backdoor flush draw, even though we have the nut gutter, we're gonna fold. 9-9-6-5. Could be a bluff, could be a call. I'm gonna go with bluff. Yes. And then the nut wrap to the top, call and see turns. Oh, we're raising. We're raising Jack 998. Let's see this. Jack 998 with backdoor flush draw is raising, so I suppose we're getting the money in if we do get popped. So yeah, we're going to continue. So it's a bit of a mergy raise, but we are blocking a bunch of the continuing range. So we're trying to make a hand fold like top pair that is beating us, you know, some king, king. We can actually see right away, like what hands are we trying to make fold here by taking this mergy check raise. So when we go back to the button, and we can see that the button is going to be folding 58% of one pair holdings, right? And so how often does he fold an overpair? 40% of the time he's folding an overpair, and 52% of the time he's folding top pair. So there are quite a few top pair overpair bluffs that are bet folding the flop, or at least supposed to. And that's what we are targeting by check raising the Jack 998, making those hands fold in the flop. Yeah, even if he calls, we still have the nut wrap. We have a bunch of equity to work with, right? But it's a mergy play. And given that we are unblocking aces and kings and queens, it makes it just much more likely that players have these kinds of hands. At lower stakes, you will also see people playing very mergy. They're betting hands like ace, ace, 4-3 or something. Then you hit them with a check raise, and they end up folding. Even if they continue, you have perfect visibility with your hand, and you know what to do on turns and rivers. Over here, we have a big wrap and a pair block with no BDFD, but I think given the size of the wrap, which is raising and getting this in, bottom set and 2 backdoor flush draws, just raising. And this is weak. The first thing that strikes me is the 3 hearts, really bad, so we're just folding. Ace 5-4-4, is this good enough to turn into a bluff? I don't think so. The key cards to block here are the 10, 9, 8, 7, and we have neither of those. 5 and a low open-ender, call. Could this be a slow play with bottom set blocking the 7? It could be. Holding hearts, it could be, but I'm going to raise. Yeah, I just really like raising sets on this board. 8-8 deuce deuce here. The 8s are great blockers, but the deuces are worthless and our equity is trash, so I'm just going to fold. Open-ender, pocket 4s. We're going to see some turns. Top set raise. Too weak. Raisey daisy. Tricky one. Queen 10, 9, 4. Do we want to bluff? Probably not. I'm not sure. Oh, this is a bluff. Okay. We have just about a weak enough hand, and then also we have interesting turns to barrel. So we're attacking the overpairs, we're attacking the weaker draws, trying to make those fold, and we're just raise folding this hand on the flop. Middle set. Here we have ace high, no straight draw. This is a raise. And no backdoor flush draw. Oh, this calls, but it's really marginal. It's okay. King 10, 8, 4, top pair, backdoor flush draw, and inside straight draw, call. Here we have a gutter to a low straight, no BDFD, no pair. Ace 9, 9, 3, it's not good enough. And this is just a raise. This is going to be a call. This is going to be just a call. And this is a bluff raise. Yeah. A lot of pretty intuitive stuff. We're going to head into the turn in just a second. I'm going to play until I make a mistake. Calling this one. Queen, Jack, 8-4. So double gutter to pretty good straights. Just calling. Here we have bottom 2 and an open-ender, no BDFD. I would probably just call this hand. Maybe it's too tight. No, it's good. And this could be a bluff raise. Queen, Jack, 10-6. Let's bluff raise this one. Yep. So far, we have 88% accuracy here on this board against the c-bet. Top 2 with no additional draw. Call. Ah, shit. What are we doing here? Raise folding or raise getting it in? I guess it's the 2 hearts in my hands. It's a raise fold. Jack 7, Jack 10, 7, 6. Oh. No, it's not. It's oh no, wait, we check raise and then we get, yeah, we usually just call, but then very few are raising. No, this is the guy in position, sorry. So we do raise. If we get pushed, we are actually going to stack off. I mean, we're not happy about it whatsoever, but it seems like we really dislike seeing the turn. So we just raise in the hopes of making him fold. If he rips, we're going to still get it in because it's just too unlikely someone has a set on this board. Okay. Nice. Luke is taking some pointers there about what we want to see. So let's review some of the hands I actually did check raise. This is actually an interesting hand that I've played. So now let's get into some practical hands. Under the gun raises and we call. And the flop is ace, king, 4. Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be approved against under the gun. The range is too strong. So under the gun c-bets the flop, which on this board you can really just c-bet almost basically the entire range. We raise because we have a jack and 2 3s, but we also have clubs, which really sucks. And I think against under the gun, we just need to play more straightforward. What ended up happening is my opponent calls. The turn is a 5. We bet 66%. The river is a 6, and we pot. And my opponent folds. I think we are. It's just too spewy. Let's have a look. So we go to study. And we say we are post flop in a single raise pot, EP versus big blind. We can say it's going to be like MP versus big blind. It's a bit more accurate given the ranges in play here. And the flop is like ace king high. So let's see. So in position can see bet 82%. But in actuality, in this challenge, because the big blind has such a wide defending range, it's going to be closer to 100. And then, so how often do we raise? Still 12%. And we had exactly top pair and a straight draw blocker. Let's see. Top pair, blocker, straight draw. So on the right-hand side, you can see what kind of hands want to raise the flop. A6, 3-3, 2 backdoor flush draws. A6, 4-4, backdoor nut flush draw. A lot of A6, 6 stuff. Basically, this kind of stuff can still make the nut straight, runner, and can make the nut flush. Some of those hands also hit sets. But if you look at the structure of those hands, so we had ace jack 3-3, right? And actually our raise is legit, but not if we don't have a backdoor flush draw, right? And you can see the EV difference right there. If we have hearts, which is no backdoor flush draw, it's actually a very sizable mistake to be raising the flop here. We want to have the backdoor flush draw component alongside if we go back to our hand. We raise the flop right there. It's a bit spewy. I mean, if you have the right stats on your opponents, you can maybe justify it, but I think it's just a bit too spewy right there. And then, like, how does the hand play out? So I check raise and get called, and the turn is a 4. Is it a flush? Is it a rainbow turn? It's a 5. So yeah, it's a flushing card. So it's the 4 of clubs. And it looks like we want to size down in order to just comfortably value bet still like the sets and 2 pairs. Obviously ace jack 3-3 is going to be a bet. Ace jack 3-3. Why is it not in the range? Oh, sorry. We raise, we get called. The turn is a 4. Looks like we can go 2 sizings. 1/3 and still represent some sets 2 pairs, and then pot represents some straights. I would imagine my hand probably wants to pot. Yeah, so my hand is very inefficient going for a small sizing. It makes sense. You don't want to get called with ace jack 3-3. You're trying to apply max pressure at this point. And it looks like if we have the flush draw, we're piling. If we don't have the flush draw, we're just check folding. Now in the actual hand, we're definitely deeper, right? We are starting the hand 200 big blinds deep. So there's a bit more room to be aggressive. We have one spade, but I don't think it's really going to work out that well. If we had the ace of spades, I think it's fine to pot the turn or bet large, set up a river jam basically. But as played, it shows also the problem of not having a backdoor flush draw. But anyway, we bet. I mean, we're deeper in this instance. Do we have something like that anyway? Post flop, 200 big blind, single raise pot, cutoff versus, or EP versus big blind. So this is a 200 big blind example. We need to run the turn custom. Let me see if we have turns there. we need to run custom. So basically we face the bet right there, and we have ace jack 3-3. I mean, it's the same principle. First of all, because we're deeper, we're not as interested in raising the flop anymore. Well, actually 12%, but we want to have it looks like a bit of a different hand. So let's say we have top pair with a blocker to a straight draw. It's still the same kind of hands you want to be raising with, right? The backdoor nuttiness really matters a ton. Backdoor nut flush draw, backdoor straight draw. The 7-7-3 or 6-4-4 can still make all those amazing hands by the river, which does matter a ton if you think about putting in 200 big blinds across this hand. And my hand is just like an inaccuracy, like it looks similar, but it can't make those amazing straights, and it can't make those amazing nut flushes. And so that's why it disqualifies and just is a check fold. So those are some of the, small details that are easy to miss, that I miss, that just make this a spewy play. So yeah, not too happy with this one, even though it did go through, but it's just a bit too spewy. Let's see if we can find some other interesting spots. So here is a hand we played. We have an open, we defend, and the flop is king 10-9. We flop middle set, open-ended straight flush draw, and a straight draw. We check, our opponent bets half, we raise, call, turn is a deuce. We pot, call, river's an 8. With 43 big blinds behind. We check, and our opponent luckily checks as well with the ace, king, queen 4 nut flush draw and a straight draw. The turn is a bit iffy, like the turn and the river, I guess. So let's look this up. Let's say we're playing 100 big, was it 100 big blinds deep? Yeah. So we're playing 100 big blinds deep in cutoff versus big blind as far as the ranges are concerned. And the flop is king 10-9. We could donk as well on the flop, I suppose, but my hand is pretty big. My hand probably wants to check, so we check. My opponent has ace, king, queen, 4, not flush draw. I mean, probably fine betting. It's a pure bet, and I would think our hand is a pure raise, which is correct. And then our opponent, 100 big blinds deep, is going to pure call. The turn is a 4, I think. It's a deuce. Offsuit deuce. And we are potting or checking. Our hand is certainly strong enough to pot. And now our opponent is supposed to call, probably. Our opponent is supposed to call unless they have 3 diamonds or 4 diamonds. I mean, they're only going to make like 10, like less than 10%, sometimes less than 5% of the pot. It's like not a dream spot for sure. Call, and the river is a weird 8. And now the question is, like, how do we deal with the 8 of the river? Given that we have a set, we can't really value jam at this point. We might get heroed by king, king, which we lose. So what happens here? We do jam. Holy shit. So what are we going to get called by? I mean, I know my opponent is not calling that hand, but I guess we hope that... What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? So we jam. And then what? What is calling? So if my opponent does not have... So if he has kings... So he's folding kings, supposed to fold kings 55% of the time. So we're miraculously trying to make kings fold and maybe a weaker hand call. Because if he has king, jack, 10 without the queen, he's supposed to call pure. Let's say he has no jack. So we're trying to, well, no jack, 7. No straight. So basically, we're trying to make this miracle hand call. Sorry, no 10s. What do you mean jacks? Yeah. So we're trying to make king 10 with jacks fold or something along the lines. King 10 jack. We're trying to make a weaker hand call and a better hand fold, which is always difficult. What is 6-7 doing? Always calling. 9-9 is always calling because 9-9 usually has a jack. So in some world, he's going to fold king, king half the time, but call 9-9 all the time and call king 10 jack and king 9 jack like all the time as well, which would be insane. Like that would be a cool play. You jam. But well, I mean, on the 8, I think he is folding king, king a lot. The 8 completes another 2 straights, 6-7, jack 7. So if he has king, king without a jack or a queen, I suppose he's going to be folding. So we are supposed to value jam against weaker hands that call and some better hands that fold. If we do check, is our opponent supposed to rip? Seems hard to believe, but he needs to have some bluffs. He's actually supposed to go all in some of the time. He's actually supposed to rip here because what is he really bluffing? He needs some bluffs. He called a flop check raise. He called a turn pot size bet. And then arrives on this river somehow with 1 pair. And a straight blocker. So I wonder how I would have played it because it's pretty insane spot. Imagine you're on the river here and you check. So you check the river and he rips. Like, what are you going to do? You block the flush draw. You lose against any straight. The only hand you beat is ace, king of diamonds, basically. Ace, king, jack of diamonds, something like that. It's pretty insane. So he's supposed to jam, especially without backdoor spade blockers. And yeah, it's a pretty interesting hand. Hey, do you still play the Coin Poker Championship? The championship is over, so the answer is no. It ended on November 2nd. I don't know exactly where I placed, but there is another stream that I did, or multiple streams. I would check those out where I break down my results, where I break down the whole championship in different ways. And throughout this month, I will be covering more content around the championship where I talk about who did I think were the best players, what are the different playing styles, what can we learn from the championship moving forward as players. A ton of value content coming. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. So let's see if we can find some more hands here from the big blind that were kind of tricky to deal with. I mean, we defend some trash. I mean, we have to raise. We just have to raise this hand. Yeah, makes sense. Then what else? I think this is a bit spewy. Cutoff raises. We check raise the flop. They click it back with Queen Jack 10 deuce. The problem with my hand is the lack of backdoor flush draws. I think if we bluff, we probably want to block aces and kings, specifically aces. So ace X is maybe reasonable, and then backdoor flush draws are reasonable. Backdoor flush draws and straight draws are reasonable. So I would say raising range is like some ace X with a deuce with backdoor flush draw. Maybe a hand like ace king. Let's say we had ace king deuce 3, or a hand like ace deuce 4-5 with backdoor flush draws. That makes sense because you do block pocket deuces, you block aces, you have backdoor flush draws and backdoor straight draws to work with in barrel. And then as far as like my hand class is considered, I guess, I mean, if you have Queen Jack 10-8 or something like that, you can definitely do something. Especially if you had an ace and a backdoor flush draw. So this feels spewy to me. Let's look into paired boards. So say button versus big blind. I'm using button because in this challenge, the cutoff is open raising so wide, 40% plus or 40%. Paired board. So 9-9 is the board. 9-9 deuce, right? I think my opponent's combo makes a lot of sense. Blocks the deuces, blocks the queens, the jacks, and the tens for C betting, right? I think they had something like this. Queen, jack, 10 deuce makes a ton of sense with backdoor flush draw. So BDFD. So the hand is a pretty straightforward bet on the flop. And then so for us, I mean, we're just punting it off with the Queen Jack 10-5, for example. And it's just not really going to be a thing, even with backdoors. It's not really going to be good. What about the ace deuce without a 9, right? So here on the right-hand side, we can see some of the prime candidates, right? Like ace deuce 5-3. You have those backdoor straight draw elements, backdoor flush draw elements, blocking the deuce, blocking the aces. A bunch of those hands are in fact raising unless they are good enough to call. If we don't have a pocket pair in our hand, we are going to be raising ace deuce 44% of the time. So that's prime candidate to be raising. What if you have no BDFD? I mean, then we need to have good backdoor straight draws. We can still raise, but we need pretty prime backdoor straight draws. And ace king is also great because we're blocking kings as well. But we can also call. But if we have backdoor flush draws, then we start becoming more interested in raising BDFD, right? Because we have more barreling options, especially if we have 3 low cards wrapping around the deuce or the 9. But so what if we have... you know, the Queen Jack 10 without a pocket pair, without a 9? Is there any raising? Yeah, you need that 8. You need like the perfect backdoor stuff going on or the deuce blocker. So again, my hand's just like spewy candidate. It's like loosely taking the concept and then taking it too far. If my opponent is bet folding like an incredible amount, I guess it's like justified in some ways or could be justified, but that's not really happening here, and it's just, not really good. So what is my opponent supposed to do here with the queen jack 10 deuce? I would guess probably just call. But let's see. Yeah, so this hand is just supposed to float, see some turns, see what's going on, can improve. If they have no backdoor flush draw, they're just going to fold. But my opponent takes it back on the flop, which is probably fine as well. But probably preferable to just play like a call for the most part. So really dislike like taking that hand to war. What's going on here? Button raises, we call. Flop is 5-4 deuce. We have ace-6-6. Check raise the flop. Turn, we have the ace of clubs. We got a barrel. I don't like my sizing. I guess I'm saying I can also have a set. And I'm setting up a river gem anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And then the river plays itself. We check raise the flop, bet the turn, jam the river. It's an interesting one. Our hand has no equity when getting called in the flop, but we do have very good blockers. So, we have a backdoor flush draw, I guess. I wonder if this is taking it too far, which is fine. I would think it's probably okay. So button big blind, let's change the flop and go to this one. I imagine we have a bunch of donks here, especially in this like I think donking is probably better. Almost definitely better, yeah. So just donking the flop. Check raising is just like a bit nasty with this hand because we have such bad equity when getting called. So if we do check, we can check raise with the backdoor flush draw. But donking is probably preferable. So we get called and the turn brings in the 9 of clubs. And we have the ace jack 6-6. So with the nut flush draw, we are barreling. We don't really have the single ace of clubs here to have a comparable. But I would say it's probably too aggressive. So in hindsight, I think, are we even check raising without the backdoor nut flush draw? Button bets here. So if you go back to this node, ace jack 6-6. We're not defending preflop without the backdoor flush draw. So these hands on the left have no backdoor flush draw. What if we have a low suit? I guess those hands are supposed to fold preflop in these solutions. Yeah, so it could be okay. But in hindsight, I think I prefer just leading the flop instead of taking this a bit more exotic line. This is an interesting one as well. We defend the big blind. We flop bottom 2 with 2 4s, which are not really amazing blockers. And we do face the bet. So this is a hand I would think is either going to check raise or fold, or just fold. And this guy doesn't seem to fold very much against raises. So I think it's just better to fold. The 2 4s are straight draw blockers, but they are pretty irrelevant. You have like, jacks, 10s, 9s are interesting cards to hold. 4s are pretty much meaningless. So I think this check raise is just bad. Again, it's just too spewy. Let's see what's going on here. So we have a single raise pot, let's say MP versus big blind. The flop was queen 8-6. Rainbow. We could have some dongs. Is our hand good enough? So 31% dongs. That makes me think we probably want to donk. Yeah, so a missed donked opportunity or donking opportunity with my hand. Now, as we do face the bet, what are we going to do? We're gonna check raise with 2 backdoor flush draws, and all the other combos donked the flop anyway. Which makes me think that my hand without the backdoor flush draw is not great in the check raise line. Yeah, I mean, if I look into... Yeah, you have to leave without equity. Yeah. If I look into my donk frequency, it's 6%. And the recommended donk frequency from the big blind is 12. So I'm definitely missing some donks there. And that this is an example of a hand that just plays better as a donk on the flop and taking it from there. So don't really like the way I played that one either. So you can see really what the review process looks like. Looking into some more check raising hands here. I mean, this is pretty spicy. Doesn't look, well, I have a set, right? Oh no, I have a set. Yeah, this is fine. So cutoff opens, we call. We have middle set, 2 backdoor flush draws and a backdoor straight draw. So this is, I think this is way strong enough. Opponent bets the flop, we raise. They rip. I mean, sometimes I guess you got to put in a stack and maybe die. I wonder, like, what is their ripping range aside from kings, though? We get it in, and he has top sizzle, and we lose. Justifiable stack loss or not? Let's see. So we're going to work with cutoff big blind, and the board is king 5-4, right? King 5-4 is not available. Give me a different king high board. King 6-5. So against the cutoff, 14% dongs, 8-8, 6-4. I mean, 8-8, 6-4 is a straight draw as well. What do we use then? Like a 6-6, 9, 10. Could be a good donk. Getting aces to call and the king to call. Anyway, my opponent bets. How do we play mid-set? It's a raise 67% of the time. If we have middle set with 2 backdoor flush draws, we just gotta raise. 100% raise, it's not in question. But if we had middle set without a backdoor flush draw, I mean, that's going to change things a lot. 56% calls. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a ton of sense to me. So my hand seems clean, but leading is an interesting one. It's an interesting one to lead. What's going on here? Are you going through hands you've played and recorded? Yeah, exactly. These are my hands that I've played in the challenge. In the big blind against the c-bet, right? Right now we're looking at check raises, trying to identify where I was overly aggressive, too aggressive. And then later we're going to go through turn plays. So defending the big blind, my opponent bets the flop and we raise. So we're blocking top set and we're blocking the king high flush. But we can't call. It seems pretty clean to me. Let's review this. So we have a mono flop right now. Gonna change this to button big blind. We're going to choose a monotone flop. Do we have a queen high? We do have a lot of queen high ones. It's queen 9-6, queen 9-6, queen 9-6. So no donks. Well, actually we could donk. It says we could donk out. It's pretty spicy. So in this instance, we have king queen 5-5, and it is we have the king of spades, but not 2 spades. It is a pure raise on the flop. Yeah, seems pretty clean. That's fine. That wasn't overly aggressive. Here, under the gun raises, we call. I like leading the flop here, but went for a big check raise. I chose a pot size sizing because we're deep, and I'm very polarized, saying I have a set. And that's fine. I think the sizing is good, and the hand class is also not bad. Like we are, even though we have no pair blocker, we have a nut gutter, backdoor nut flush draw. So that's the kind of bluff you want to have when we build a polarized check raising range, because we can make the nuts and put a stack in the middle. I put in calls. The turn is a 3. Well, that's not great. So at that point, I'm much more interested in bluffing pairs versus missed straight draws. So bluffing a 4, bluffing an 8, and going big. Check, 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 check. And we end up... Well, this guy has only top pair. That's pretty... well, actually, he rivered... Well, but on the flop, he only had top pair. But it is an essential blocker. It's an interesting decision there. So this is a deep spot. We're going to look it up first, shallower. Say we play this config. The flop is low, right? It's like seven, 3 deuce, rainbow. Do we have leads? Probably not. Oh, we have some leads. Ace, 7, 7, 6. Can definitely consider leading here. I was considering leading, actually, yeah. If we don't have a backdoor flush draw, we just check. But with a backdoor flush draw, let's see. So with a backdoor flush draw, we are going to lead half the time. I'm going to duplicate this window and then run the same thing for 200 big blinds to see what the differences are going to be. So we're leading 18%. Let's remove this for a second. So instead of leading 11%, we can lead more often and apply more pressure. A7, 7. Oh, wait. I'm looking up top set here, right? I want to switch to 8, 3 deuce. I see we have, let's use 7, 3 deuce, and then use ace 6, 6, 5, right? So ace 6, 6, 5 definitely likes leading, BDFD as well. Leading is a possibility, and then 200 big blinds deep. We're pure leading the flop. Yeah, our opponent just can't do that much. Like, they cannot just race with aces and get it in. They have to play really passive once we're this deep. So we really enjoy leading deeper stacked and applying pressure. But as played, let's say we face this bet. 100 big blinds deep. We are going to raise the flop as a bluff. And 200 big blinds deep, obviously, as well, I would think. Oh, 200 big blinds deep, we are going to flat. That's interesting. I guess the c-bet frequency is going to go down as well. But check raising is a possibility. Check raising or check calling. Say 100 big blinds deep, we are check raising and getting called, and the turn pairs, which in this case was, I think, on a deuce. On the bottom card, so 8, 4, 3. So the bottom card pairs, which is a deuce. And probably at that point, you're more interested in bluffing the pairs. A6, 6, 5. A6, 6, 5 can still bet. We're using a small sizing here. I think deep stacked, it might look a little bit different, because with the small sizing, can you jam rivers? Yeah, you can still jam rivers. So if you're deeper stacked, it probably looks a little bit different, and you want to polarize more and be more restrictive of the hands you want to bet. So how often do you barrel without a 7, without a 3, without a deuce? You keep barreling 60% at a time. When are you giving up? You're giving up your absolutely weakest stuff. So let me look back at my hand. We check raise the flop and get called. Not the worst hand to just bet big on the turn. We can still hit a 7. We can hit a 5. We can hit an ace against the hand like 2 kings. If he floats an 8, it's pretty uncomfortable. So this particular spot, like I don't even mind just barreling the turn actually. Yeah. You have a set now. We're here. Oh, you meant before, right? Oh yeah, we're a little bit of the delay. Okay. Let's go back into a bit of training. And we're gonna go into a few different boards now. We're gonna go back into this time cutoff versus big blind. And we're gonna work on more two-tone stuff. We're gonna start with a beautiful Queen 9 deuce. And we're gonna get started. 15 seconds per decision. Ah, I see, it's all good now. Call. 10-9-7-7. Intuitively, I would think the hand is not good enough to be check raise bluffing. We need more going on here. This hand could check raise and just get it in. Straight flush draw, top set blocker. This feels kind of gross, but I think we have to call. Also, ace 4 wraps around a deuce. This freaking fly. Do you really want to die? I'm too slow. Fold. This seems pretty weak. 2 hearts as well, just folding. Ah, mistake. Seems to be good enough. I mean, it's not printing, but it's good enough. Calling this one. Call. This is a check raise bluff. That's interesting. Yeah. Turning shit like this into a bluff. King Queen 9-9. Probably just calling. No, we just raise. It's actually a blunder. It's making all those future bluffs fold. Okay. Let's lock in. Calling the nut wrap. So top pair, not gutter. I guess we gotta see the turn. Top 2, backdoor nut flush draw, blocking the king. Maybe just raise and get some money in. Oh, we call. Too strong. Ace 10, 8-8, too weak. This is a wrap and a king F flush draw. Just raise and get it in. 10, 7, 7, 6. Weird. Fold. Bluff raise. Fold. It's a call. Okay. Making some mistakes. Could this be a bluff raise? I mean, with the deuce and the king of spades, I guess. No, it's a blunder. It's too weak. We need better blockers. tricky stuff. Could this be a bluff raise? Probably not. Just about enough backdoor equity to just, oh wow, we called this. Okay. Top set and a king high flush draw. Raise. This could be a bluff raise. Yep. This could be a call. Okay. Bottom two, nothing else. Fold or call? Pretty weird spot. Two hearts as well. I think I'm folding. It's a call, actually pretty significantly winning call. Blundering around. Some straightforward decisions right there. Top set, raises daisy. Peeling this one, wrong. Blunder again. 4 blunders already. 2 pair nut gutter, just call. That's good. Top set. Call this one. Going to be playing turns here against second barrel in a moment. Fold. Bluff raise. Call. Could be a bluff raise. Could be, should be probably a bluff raise. Okay, we're hitting some targets here. Raise for value, get in. This one, king, queen, jack, 10. Clubs. Call, mistake. It's close. Ace, king, 8 deuce, just calling. Wow. We're raising and then what? Can't fold against a jam, right? Let's explore this hand for a second. Ace, king, 8 deuce. King, queen, 9, 9 was middle set. Yeah. So this hand against that, when check raising the flop, are we gonna stick it in then? I guess we're not. We're check raise folding this hand. Pretty crazy. Here, check raise fold or check call. Probably check raise fold, honestly. Yeah. Here, check raise, get it in. Okay, we're getting better. Check raise bluff. Fold. Check call. Call for mini V. Ace, jack, jack 3, ace of spades. I guess we gotta put it in there and raise. No, it's a mistake. 2 pair, calling here. And then this one, bluff raising. With backdoor flush draw, probably just raise, get it in. And I think that is, let's do it until we make a mistake. Top set. Ace, king, 6, 6. Bluff raise, question mark. Call, question mark. Fold. Can't fold this one. Let's call. Call this one. King, king, queen, 8. 8 of spades. Weird. Weird hand. Don't really know what to do at all. I feel like folding. It's a bluff raise for mini V. It's fine. Okay, so now we're going to move and change the training, and we're going to go to call. The turn comes in some sort of break. It's a 7. And we face the second barrel for pot. Well, that's a pretty convenient hand. Rip. Check raise call. Check call flop and then rip. Call, call. Oh, so this hand goes for the late rip. Check, call, flop, rip, turn on the improved 7. Pretty cool line. Queen, jack, jack, 8. We check, call the flop, facing the turn, double barrel. Should we rip represent queens? It's an interesting line with queens, with this blocker. It just wants to call. Keep the bluffs in. Okay. Too creative, huh? Check, call, flop, turn, fold, I would think. Yeah. Here we call again. Queen 9, Queen 10, 9. So we check, call the flop, facing a second barrel for pot. I don't know. I don't think I want to put in a stack. Looks like solver disagrees. Just raise and get it in at this point. Okay. Understood. Here we call. Ace, ace, 8, 3. We check, call the flop. And I'll probably fold in the turn. Call this one. King 9, 9, 8. Check, call, flop. Check, raise. And this one is as well. Yeah. I guess that's the idea then. You check, call the flop with those naked 2 pairs and then just rip. Folding this one, gutter and not flush draw. Okay. Raising top set. Raising mid set. Awkward spot here with the queen deuce, but I suppose we have to peel. Rip this. Probably just folding this one. Rip this. So we turned the open ender, not flush draw, but have no pair blocker. So again, I guess we just call. This is a beautiful turn. Turn the set. We have an open ender. We have a flush draw. Let's rip. Okay, and I think the rest is pretty intuitive. Our accuracy here is 85. So I would think turns play rather intuitive. This one is a bit weird. Check, call, flop, turn is 7. I would probably call. Yeah, it's a close one, but it wants to call. Okay, let's do it until we make a mistake. Jack 10, 8, 8. Fold. There's a mistake. It's a blunder. So full wrap. Still not a fold. Okay. Let's say we check, call, and the turn goes check, check. And the river comes in an 8. This is a tricky spot. So we play check, call, flop. The turn goes check, check. And now it's about river probing, and we have this block sizing. Let's see if this one is a good candidate here for 1/3. It is. Here we have the nuts, and we don't block the pairs. So I would just pot it. This one checks. Block. So we check, call the flop. Turn goes check, check. River 8. Just check. Here we have the nuts. Pot. Now we fake block, blocking some 2 pairs. I guess that makes sense. Here we can block. So we check, call, flop. Turn goes check, check, river 8. Maybe checking actually. Yeah, this one is better to just bluff catch. Maybe I fall with the blockers to the straight. It's better to just go for block sizing. And then with a set here, blocking, not holding any straight draw blockers. This one probably potting. We block 2 straights, 5, 6, and Jack 10. No, it checks. We have a tiny bit of showdown, and we're going to go for river check raise. At least that's what I would assume. So on the river, we check. Our opponent bets half. And at that point, we are springing the fake trap, and we're going to bluff raise, right? Some of the time. It's a possibility. bit of an indifferent hand. Check, check, 5-3. So this one wants to bluff. So wants to block. King, jack, 6-4. We definitely want to bluff. Pot. Here we have a straight, no pair blocker, pot. Here we have the nuts with an 8 blocker, so better off going third or check. Third. And a 9. Maybe check. Potting this one. Set of 7s here with a 10 blocker. Don't mind potting the river. Okay, goes for third. Blunder. Okay. I think this wraps up today's session. A lot of interesting spots here from the big blind. If you guys are looking to improve your game, PLOmastermind.com. Check out our new design, new functionality. This is available for 4 and 5 card PLO. The new trainer, new design, and today's topic was how to play the big blind against the c-bet. We looked into check raises, heuristics there. We looked into leading the flop. We looked into facing the second barrel. And in the next stream, we're going to look into a different spot. So for today, we're out. GG's, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And catch you the next time.